What up, guys? Bobo here. Thank you for joining for another episode of BrassReel tonight. Live trilogy beyond spoiler discussions, whatever you want to call it. But we're talking about episode 4 of She-Hulk. And has been joining me these past few streams on this, as always. Got my buddy Anshul. Anshul, what's up, man? How you doing?
What up? What up, Bobo? What up, BrassReelers? How you doing today?
Oh, man, we're doing good. Check out this X-Men shirt I got on. 90s, old school.
Love it. That's a Claremont era.
Oh,
classic era right there.
It is. It is. We were talking about Claremont the other day when you were over here. The good and the bad.
That's right. That's right. Days of Future Past. What up? G's up. Days of Future Past.
Dude, Days of Future Past and the first X-Men, or excuse me, and the second X-Men movie are definitely the best two X-Men movies.
Yeah, man. When I think Days of Future Past, I think the comic books. I think them doing on the X-Men cartoon. I think the movie before we found out Bryan Singer was a pedophile. You know,
right? Oh,
all the good memories, right? All the good memories.
You know, it's so funny because on Apocalypse, I'm sure you've heard the rumors about Apocalypse, but like apparently, like just like on Bohemian Rhapsody, because some of his sort of shenanigans were starting to backfire on him, and so the lawsuits were starting to accumulate. He, from what I understand, that he wasn't there like over half the time on Apocalypse.
Oh, really?
Like, the second unit was filming all the stuff, and he was like calling in and calling the actors and be like, "Hey, look, I can't make it today, but just so and so would do like we talked about," and then just like letting them do their thing. And then, I mean, you can tell that Apocalypse was such just a disaster.
Actors are like, "Are you at a kid's playground? What's up?"
Yeah, he's like, "No,
where are you, man?"
I'm actually at a high school.
Yeah,
I'm waiting outside of the gym.
Yeah, man, wild times. Yeah, it's been a long journey for Marvel. You know, we started out with those X-Men movies, and now we're here, and we got Disney Plus, and we got Marvel TV shows, and we got the She-Hulk.
You know, and and I hate to say it this way, but it is, you know, it's more Marvel proper as far as it feels like comic book material on the screen. Whereas, you know, like while I love X-Men 1 and 2, and I think 3 gets a bad rap, but those felt sort of like, especially
wait. Okay, you think 3 gets a bad rap? You're not just gonna sneak that by here and just kind of just.
Well, we can't dive too deep in that because we're going to talk about She-Hulk. But
okay,
that's another. We'll do an X-Men franchise conversation.
Okay, if you can name 5 good things about X-Men 3, I will be fucking shocked.
Okay, so
Kid show. Sorry for the F-bomb.
Oh no, that's all right. No, don't worry about any F-bombs. So I definitely love the whole idea of Scott getting sort of swooped away. I like that. I love Jean Grey and the Wolverine scene at the very end where he's like walking towards her and it's peeling off of him and everything. I'm not going to say there aren't some sort of holes here and there in the story, but like even the bridge scene and all that at the end, I love that. I think that him Magneto lifting the bridge and everything is awesome.
Yeah, he lifts it in the day and he puts it down at night. That's an awesome scene. It takes him like 24 hours apparently to lift up that bridge.
Well, you know, the sun could have been going down. You never know. It could have been right at that moment where you like, oh, daylight in 5 minutes and not. Okay, look, I'm not saying that there weren't some cinematic errors, but
what about the Juggernaut? I'm the Juggernaut.
I like the Juggernaut in it. I thought it was cool, man. It personally worked for me.
Dog, they put in an internet meme. You know that I'm the Juggernaut bitch? That was apparently a popular YouTube meme before old guys like you and I knew what YouTube were.
See, I felt
that's why I put that in there.
But I felt like it worked for the movie, and it just didn't bother me. I also like the way she lost her powers, the way Mystique lost her powers, that whole scene, and the way Magneto turned her. Look, there are just I just think for me there are things that work about it. But look, let's not get caught. I'm not saying it's awesome, and I'm not saying that it's better than 2 or Days of Future Past. It's definitely better than Apocalypse. It's definitely better than X-Men Origins.
Okay.
I also think the Wolverine gets a bad rap. It's just the ending part that sort of throws it off for everyone, including me.
Yeah, it's two halves, right? The Wolverine, good first half, second half.
Right. I'd even say good first 2/3, first 3/4, and then just that last third act part just goes off the rails for me. But Logan, I think everybody can agree, is one of the greatest.
Oh, Logan. Yeah, Logan's fire.
I mean, it's a beautiful film.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've gone almost 6 minutes now and we haven't even touched on She-Hulk.
That's
But
all
we
right.
can segue from this into
Okay.
that in the sense that those movies, like X-Men, the original X-Men, it kind of felt like Ninja Turtles. And I mean, in a sense, like it felt like, oh, we're finally getting to see him on screen. And it wasn't fully perfected yet. You know, while
Mhm.
Ninja Turtles is a beautiful movie and I love that movie so much, there were some things that could have gotten a little better. There are moments where it's like, oh, I see the I see the seams in the neck
Mhm.
there and things like that. But overall, it really brought something to the screen that like I felt like Ninja Turtles were real and X-Men had that vibe to it. Whereas now they're so like polished and
Mhm.
it's just we're so used to it. And that felt like a real world movie where the only thing that existed were X-Men. Remember, these were times where they made movies where nothing coincided with each other.
Mhm.
And so you could make it real world, and these are the only group of people that have these powers. But now with the MCU, it's the whole world is extremely aware of people having powers. Everyone has it. That they're abundant around the world universe, technically. And everyone's aware of this universe, like so they have to kind of make it comic booky. And that's part of the reason that this show She-Hulk is kind of working for me, man, because I don't know, it's just somehow or another they've got all the right pieces that are making it work finally for the first time for me. Like whatever they did with Thor Love and Thunder, which I had on prior when I was getting all this stuff together. Whatever they did with Thor Love and Thunder, for me, it was just I couldn't grasp into it. I feel like I'm watching sort of a Broadway stage production being filmed. You know what I'm saying? Whereas
Mhm.
this doesn't feel like that. This feels like I'm actually reading a comic book. I don't know how I can explain it any better, or I don't even know if I can specifically explain it, but it's just like I get the vibes that I got when I'd leave the comic shop as a kid and I'm opening up that comic shop and I'm reading, let's say Spider-Man. I see the Daily Bugle and the way Manhattan looks and feels. I'm just getting those vibes from this show. And
Okay.
it's not even that all that superhero-y. It's not, it's definitely got the whole Ally McBeal lawyer thing going for it, but there's something about it that's I don't know, man. I feel like a kid reading comics when I'm watching this show.
Okay, that's interesting, man. Because for me, now listen, you're gonna really want to know what I think, and because for me, man, this show is trash, son.
Oh,
I was by the end of this episode, I was so done. Of course, I'm gonna watch
now
because I'm gonna want to hang out with you.
this is my least favorite episode though.
Yes,
I will say that.
this episode is garbage. It's garbage. Now, here's the thing: is it really that badly written? No. Okay. A lot of times when we talk about how we feel about a movie or TV show, there's two parts of the equation. And the first part of the equation is expectations. Now, my expectations for this show, based on the early reviews, were higher than the cast of Pineapple Express. All right? They were high expectations. And this show has been mid as hell. It's been, at best, just slightly above mid.
See, I think this episode was mid, but I think the first 3 episodes were pretty solid, man, in my opinion.
Let me tell you something, Bobo. Okay? Nobody
Easy.
Nobody cares about Jennifer Walters. Nobody cares about Jennifer Walters.
Look,
Quit giving me Jennifer Walters. This show needs She-Hulk like Kevin Smith needs writing lessons. Okay,
hey,
like
you might be right about that, and but I mean, what's also funny is that these She-Hulk streams I've been doing, they aren't getting many views, but I've also noticed that Marvel stuff these days doesn't get the views that it used to as far as like social media stuff is concerned.
yeah,
But
it's dropped off, man.
I don't know, man. I just have to disagree with you. I don't think it's like awesome. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, guys, you have to watch She-Hulk. Like I said, I just feel kind of like I don't know. Do you remember when you were reading Fantastic Four when you were younger? And it was never like the X-Men experience was way more intense. Daredevil was way more intense. Ghost Rider was dark, but Fantastic Four had this lighthearted vibe to it. And I'd feel like,
Yeah, so did She-Hulk, man. The problem was the writing in the comics is way better than the writing on this TV show. Somebody plant some meth on these writers so they can get arrested and go to court and figure out what a real court scene's supposed to be like.
well,
You know?
I will. That is funny because this last court scene where Wong's just able to stand up, it's like
Yeah,
you can't just stand up and start talking in court. But
yeah.
They definitely don't have the logistics of the way courtroom scenes working. They don't have that down. But I don't know if you knew this. The show, and I can't remember the specific reason though, but the show got rearranged.
What do you mean?
Like they had whatever the original. Like I kind of felt like that this episode felt a little out of context.
Mhm.
Like it felt out of order because it's like all of a sudden they're not talking about Blonsky at all.
She did mention that.
She did, yeah. But then the where's the dude partner at work, the one that showed her, the best bathroom.
Yeah, the best part of the show, right there.
Right. But they did mention how the writers and showrunners had done this show and filmed it in order, and I guess because of some changes of other things happening and rescheduling of certain movies coming out, they had formatted the order of episodes from what I understand. And I think you can read up on that and find that that's true.
Here's how I know that they knew the show was going to suck. Okay. What's the first joke She-Hulk says after we see Wong? Everybody loves Wong.
Oh,
it's Twitter fuel. Here's the problem. They wrote that line in before the show was released. They already knew that people were going to like Wong. By the way, give me a Wong TV show. Screw She-Hulk. Cancel She-Hulk. Just give me a Wong TV show.
No,
the last 6 episodes, and I'm good, right? They already knew that Wong was going to outshine their main character. That's how bad they've dropped the ball on writing their main character. Which, once again, nothing bad to say about Tatiana Maslany. She's giving the best performance she can give with a weak-ass script that she has, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that part of the reasons you mentioned that your expectations were really high for this show. My expectations were extremely low.
Okay.
Like I don't know if you'd seen, not that I expect you to see all my videos by any means, but
I watch them all. Everybody should watch all of Bobo's videos.
Oh,
You're missing out if you don't. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell up top. What are you doing, guys? Yes. What are you doing?
Thank you.
And also comment.
Yeah, definitely comment. Yeah, and honestly, some, like I said, for some reason these She-Hulk videos have not just been getting really many hits at all. But the
just title it "She-Hulk Feminist Trash" and you'll get a million. You'll get a million views, dog. Easy.
Well, I had talked about my trailer and when the trailer came out, and we had did a discussion on the trailer breakdown. And we were talking about the CGI didn't look all that good, and like I honestly was very like, oh my God, this show is going to be stupid. So maybe that's why it's kind of working for me. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like Falcon Winter Soldier, I was really excited about. And so I was slightly let down with that one. Loki, I didn't really know what to expect. And so Loki just played really well for me. I was like, all right, this is cool. It's different. It surprised me in certain elements. I like that. Hawkeye, I think kind of felt the same way. I just had fun with it. I wasn't like blown away, but I had fun with it. Miss Marvel, I liked a lot more than I expected. Moon Knight, it was just too compact with way too much stuff. And it was just like, nobody really cares about this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. By the time I got to this one, I was just like, I'm not excited. And then I'm finding myself enjoying the episode, but I do think that this is the weakest episode.
When is something going to happen in this show?
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for that. Okay, so let's mention this real quick. What do you think of Madison?
Once again, easily the comic relief is better than the main character. This is a problem, right? And here's the thing, though, because you and I have worked in the service industry, so Madison was slightly traumatic for me because we've all waited or hosted on Madison with a Y. Oh my God. Especially in Plano, Texas. Yes. The white girls in Plano, Texas, out of control, never worked a day in their life, just get drunk all the time, drunkest people in the state of Texas, all the time, every day.
God. I know plenty of Madisons with a Y and 2 N's.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was
not what you think.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of funny. Me and my buddy were talking about Fast and Furious franchise the other day, and F9. I said, it's sad in the F9 movie when the best part about it is the comic relief between Ludacris and Tyrese.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not what you want as your high points from a Fast and Furious film. And so, I will say that like her and then the Wong thing, like, with Wong watching Sopranos and her spoiling it for him.
Yeah.
And then right here, they're watching This Is Us, and like, they're actually like having a moment where they're getting along and he's opening up to her. Like, I found that funny. You're right.
Yeah. Do you ship Madison with an N and 2 Ys and Wong? Are we going to ship those two?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe that's going to be the rest of the show. Maybe this episode gets so much feedback about that. The next thing you know, they rewrite the whole thing.
Yeah.
So with this happening right here, this happens at this guy's show. All right. So Donnie Blaze, which I don't know if you remember him. His name is Reese Coiro, but this is Billy Walsh from Entourage.
Yep.
And so I loved this guy in Entourage. He was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, Billy Walsh was great.
And I enjoyed him in this a lot too. I thought he's very, believable on screen. He's cool. He's very enjoyable. Again, it's like, but how much do I care about this guy? Is he just cannon fodder for us to get misdirected? Or is he significant? Because when they're in the courtroom, he is listening to Wong talking about like Wong is trying to tell the judge this could destroy the universe of him playing with the dark arts like this. And then you see him sort of like looking at Wong and like thinking in his head, basically. And of course, my thumbnail was this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody immediately, when he said Donnie Blaze, I know that every single person was like, did he just say Johnny Blaze? Yeah. And then we waited for every time he said it more and more and more so we could hear Donnie Blaze. And it's almost like they knew, let's make sure he says it a bunch so people know it's not Johnny. But why would they name somebody? Do you know of somebody named Donnie Blaze from the comics?
No, I don't. And I should have researched him. I just was so disappointed by this episode. I didn't do my normal level research. He was fine. He was funny. I felt like they forgot about him halfway through the episode. Like he goes and asks Wong for his help, and then he's done. Like that was
because the second half of the second rest of the episode or the last 30 of the episode is them getting rid of these demon bats or whatever.
Yeah, which looked awful. This is the most She-Hulk action. I did get a good laugh when she's on those dates, by the way, and this homeboy goes, your fight with Titania was so epic. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome that you saw it, that it was epic, because we didn't get to see that epic fight. It would be nice if we'd gotten to see it, this epic throwdown that we didn't get to see.
Who now that she's suing because she owns the She-Hulk?
Yeah. How disappointed are you going to be if the big showdown between Titania and She-Hulk is in the courtroom, is one of these shitty courtroom scenes?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not sitting here telling you that this show is a winner. I'm just telling you so far I'm enjoying it and I'm having a good time with it. I don't think it's amazing, but I could see them. Look, man, after the fourth episode usually is where most things start to just go off track. It's like, yeah, it started good, then it just kind of lost me. Sometimes it's the pilot and then it loses you,
Mm-hmm.
But for this one, I mean, this one definitely to me was starting to go a little downhill. I still enjoyed it. But yeah, man, it could turn out to be just very, I mean, look, if we get a show filled with just a bunch of this afterwards, like going forward and a bunch of this going forward, I honestly, that's not going to make me happy.
How lame was that character right there?
Dude, what a buster, dude. Like I thought he was going to be cool and he's like, and I got to go. It's like,
listen. All right, listen. Okay. I know we're in this precarious spot with how movies are written, how movies are reviewed. I know most of our audience out there is tired of the movie critics that are wannabe socialites that want to kiss up to the industry. And I also know that the majority of our audience is tired of the incels who get mad every time there's a female lead. Okay? I'm not a wannabe socialite. Okay? And I'm also not an incel. I'm not Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. I've had sex with a woman. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't had, I'm not trying to tell you I'm a player. I've had tons of sex. I'm not fresh and fit. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. But I've had enough sex to where I don't have repressed rage towards women. And you're not going to see that on this channel. I'm just going to give you my honest thoughts. Okay. I'm okay with you having a feminist message on your show. Perfectly all right with it. Just write it well. Okay. Writers in Hollywood, just do a good job. That's all I care about. And when you make it too obvious and you make it too heavy-handed, everybody rolls their eyes, even people that agree with the message like yours truly.
Sure.
And that guy was a perfect example. He was set up to be this big feminist. And, then they have him, diss Jennifer Walters. Which, by the way, he pretty much, this poor guy got catfished, essentially, right? He thought he was dating She-Hulk. He thought he was dating the super powerful chick.
Okay, so that's another question. He knows that she's not.
Does he? Because it
always
seemed
like
like he
that, right?
didn't. It seemed like he didn't.
Maybe not. Maybe he just knew from her profile pic
Yeah.
because he saw her on the profile pic that she's like that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that he would know. You would think that this would be huge news. But once again, we are living in a world full of superheroes. So maybe it's possible that he just misses the news on She-Hulk. You
True.
know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I miss stuff all the time.
Now maybe this is a setup for some sort of nefarious character. Once again, I didn't catch the guy's name. Did you? Can you pull it
No,
up on IMDb?
I didn't catch his name. I know that he's a doctor or he's in
Yeah,
medicine. Um,
pediatrician.
yeah, so I'm trying to think, are there any kids doctors that are villains? And
No, but if you his name, maybe he's a cover or something, right?
right, I guess so. Kind of like Jon Snow in Eternals.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But look, let me talk about this though real quick. So
Okay.
I was this show that happens in the theater that Donnie Blaze is in. So
Mhm.
while I was trying to do some research on this, um, I found a lot of stuff and people talking about the picture.
Mm-hmm. Looks like a Ghost Rider, right?
Well, it says Donnie Blaze on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't tell if that's just him or if that's something flaming.
It looks like it's fire. I will say I love Ghost Rider, and I like this character as comic relief. If this guy becomes Ghost Rider, oh my god, the internet is going to break in three, not just
Yeah.
two, in three.
Because what they're doing, if they do something like that, and like for me, again, was it too much of a Nicolas Cage performance? Yes, it was. But I think that there were moments as far as that their approach towards Ghost Rider was correct in that movie. It's just it was too Daredevil feeling because Mark Steven Johnson directed it, and it had too much of a Nicolas Cage vibe going with it. But as far as the way they were trying to treat the character, that was more of the serious tone I would appreciate. If they do something to where like somebody falls into the shoes of Ghost Rider and it's sort of like this goofy dude right here, I agree with you. That's gonna look, this guy's supposed to come from something hardcore. He's supposed to have a dark inner life, inner demons and stuff where he just hasn't had a happy life. You
Did
know,
you watch the Ghost Rider from Marvel Agents of Shield?
well, that's who this is right here.
Mm-hmm. So
Um,
yeah,
it was the Robbie Reyes one, right?
yeah, they did both. They did. Johnny Blaze made a brief appearance and gave Robbie Reyes his power. So they
Gotcha.
had both Ghost Riders in it, but Johnny Blaze's appearance was very very brief. I thought that's been the best Ghost Rider so far. I love the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, by the way, from
That's
the comics.
everybody's that's in Agents of Shield. That's everybody's favorite part about that entire show. Everybody was
Well,
kind
dude,
of like
I mean,
on
to
the
be
show.
honest, I thought Agents of Shield when it was good, it was really good. There's an
When was it
episode,
good?
season 4, I believe, episode 4. We have I can't remember the girl's name. She gets stranded on another world. That to me is one of the best episodes of superhero TV that's ever been produced. It was just a great episode. It had nothing really to do with superheroes. It was just a great episode of TV. They had a lot of standout episodes. Marvel Agents of Shield could just never be consistent. Like it would be half a really good season that would draw you in, and the
Well,
second half would suck, or vice
that's the
versa.
problem with 23 episode seasons of TV shows. When you do a 23 per season series, you're having 25 writers on the whole thing, and so you'll
Yeah.
get a group of them that'll write this many, a group of them that'll write this many, and then they all have to remain within the confines of some sort of storyline. But so it's like you can tell when the good team is writing one, and then you can tell when the backup team is right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It feels
But
like She-Hulk is written by nothing but backups.
hey, this is the part of the shows that I like doing right here is when we're not just agreeing on everything.
For sure, for
I
sure.
like it when we're contrasting.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you in your hearts of heart, do you feel like that this is them trying to, because they said the name Donnie Blaze like probably 25 times in the episode.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get his cousin Johnny, who's a stunt writer. I think maybe it's kind of a setup. I mean, basically, you got to do something to make people interested. So it's all cameos. So yeah, let's why not Ghost Rider cameo? Why not?
Well,
What do you guys lose?
and again, but I kind of want this guy to be something. I want him to, like, why are they getting this guy up in here? Is he just some character? Because if so, that's just sort of a waste of episodes to me.
Yeah, I mean, but what have they been doing with all the characters? Even the cameos that mean something.
Well, Wong has been in it all the way through. He's been in it the entire time. Bruce was the cameo in part 1 and a minor one in part 2. I say cameo in part 1. In part 1, he was in the whole episode, but But that was cool because that was his part of the story. He's supposed to help her, and he's like, I'm going to do this stuff. You don't have any questions about what's up with Bruce. You got your fill of Bruce, in my opinion. But like all these other things, like Titania, it's like, okay, we're hearing about her, and we saw her for a glimpse. We see her on the news, but we're about to be in episode 5, and we've seen her one time actually. You know, and so things like that. I'm with you. It's like, and if we're not doing anything with this guy, with Donnie Blaze, then it's like, what are we doing with these episodes? So I'm with you on that if it's not building to something.
I've always praised Marvel for remembering at the core they are superhero movies. And this show has forgotten that. This show is trying too hard to be Ally McBeal. But at the end of the day, you are a superhero property. Well, you got to give me superhero.
Okay, but look, it's a 9-episode series. So to be fair, we're only 4 in. And even in WandaVision, the first 2 episodes were just black and white stuff with a couple of eerie things happening here and there, but that was it. You know, so like I would say that, like, for me, like the movie X by Ty West. Mm-hmm. Oh, my Google just scared me. My Google Home. Like that movie X by Ty West. He also did the Innkeepers. He did House of the Devil. Those movies have a slow burn and really getting you involved and thinking about some things. And then you're wondering, like, where is the scary moment's going to happen? And then, like, usually about the last 15 to 20 minutes, his movies are just balls to the wall. Shit hits the fan and it all just goes crazy. So look, there's still 6 episodes left of the possibility of this maybe being something.
Is it 9 episodes or 10 episodes?
5 episodes left. Excuse me.
Okay. So we're almost halfway through.
Yeah.
And the show has been trash. Right. So that's the problem. If you're writing a TV show and you can't hook people in almost halfway through your TV show and you're waiting on the latter half, how many people are going to stick around?
But I mean, that's the thing. I'm enjoying it. So, I mean, do we know what the numbers are on this? Are people watching
Once again, it's hard because you got the incels and the critics fighting over the reviews. So we don't really know.
And you got the people that just like, I have Disney Plus, so it's new. So I guess I should just watch it. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, we can talk about the CGI. It was a little bit better in this episode, but it's still been a problem.
Yeah, especially, again, it's when she's walking around the office in her suit. That's when it's the worst for me that I've seen. It's just like, when she was walking back and forth and Wong was in there trying to talk to her for a second, dude, that was like, it looked like, it literally looked like a video game.
I like how they try to explain the suit she's got on, but the reality is we all know she's got that suit on to save the CGI budget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Yeah. Like, because, you ain't fooling me, Marvel, with that.
Yeah. And these days, it's like there's way too many tall, women for them to not make clothes for you. So shut up about that comment. They make clothes.
Yeah. We ain't stupid, Marvel. All right.
Go ahead.
But yeah, it looked a little bit better. It still didn't look as good as episode 1, but like these are the little things. When you've got a new TV show, this is not established property, and this is not, like I said, She-Hulk's a good IP. It's not a money IP. It's not your A-tier character. So you're going to have a lot of people tuning in that don't know who she is, and you have given them zero reason to be invested in this character through 4 episodes, and you expect them to stick around?
Well, how many girls do you think are watching this?
I don't know, man.
Again,
hopefully some.
Well, no, I think it's an honest question because I feel like it's geared towards that. And again, when you and I were kids, we were the nerds, and the fanboys and the comic nerds were few and far between. And if we were around each other, we were kind of a small club. Now, it's like it's more people are into this stuff than not. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As far as young kids, so.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if like people are into Marvel. I don't know if they're into nerd stuff, right?
No. That's what I mean. But like go into the comic shop. Mm-hmm. If I were to be caught as a kid growing up with my comic books out of my backpack at lunch, there would be some giggles and it'd be considered nerdy. If you do that now, people would be like, "Oh, what you reading?" So that's what I'm saying. It's just a different acceptance on this. I think people are watching this more. And so I think that therefore there are more girls that are into comics than there were back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, for me, girls were never, I can talk to people. So I could talk to people about comics. I could talk to girls about whatever. And that was never anything that I guess I can see where you're coming from. Cause I know enough nerds that just, we're into nerd shit and couldn't quote unquote talk about girls, but
No. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is I think that there's more of a female audience that is open to this, whereas when I was younger, most girls that I knew
Yeah,
thought,
no, I know what you're saying. I just, like I said, I never really cared about noticing that stuff because I could always find common ground for people. So you're probably right. There probably are a lot more girls that are into this stuff now. But is it still where your core audience is? I don't think so. Like, I think that's still such a small number in the large realm of things where Marvel is looking for their audience, you know? And so, yeah, you're right. You got to gear it towards girls, but at the same time, are you sure this is what girls want? Are you
well,
sure this
hey,
is.
look, Disney has been taking chances like crazy, dude. They're doing like, look at again. I can't hate to keep going back to it, but Thor. I mean, dude, talking about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at the first Thor, the second Thor, and then look at Love and Thunder. It's like what?
Okay, so there's a larger discussion to be had here, and that is one that is about Phase 4. Okay, what if you had to give Phase 4 a score? What would the score of Phase 4 be as a whole so far?
I'd say that Phase 1, 2, and 3. If yes, there were a couple of duds here and there, but as a whole, I mean, I'd have to say is 1, 2, and 3 are like 9.5 to 10. All three.
Yeah, for those
Phase
of you,
4 is a 5.
for those of you who are following along, right? If we were going by the Who's the Master scale over on the Who's the Master podcast, go ahead and check us out.
Yes, everybody subscribe. Everybody
That's
subscribe to
right.
Who's the Master.
You know that we base that show off The Last Dragon, and so when it's 9.5 to 10, that means it's got the glow, right? So Marvel Phase 1, 2, and 3 has got the glow. When we say something is 5, it's mid, okay? And I don't even know if I'd give Phase 4 a 5. I mean, listen, I couldn't finish Moon Knight. If it wasn't for Bobo doing these streams, I don't know if I'd finish She-Hulk, right? That's two of your signature shows that I'm a huge comic fan. That's why Bobo wanted me on. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to be able to finish two of your shows? I don't know if I can even give that a 5, man.
Well, hey, so far the ones that have like been the glow in Phase 4, Spider-Man: No Way Home snuck in there. It snuck in there just because the whole event of it and all that stuff. And let's face it, it's fun to watch, even with the holes that are in it here and there. It's still
Sure.
a lot
I
of
loved it.
well made. Yeah, it's got a lot of charm. But as far as like new movies and me getting introduced to a new Marvel film that was not an existing film property yet, I was really impressed and happy with Shang-Chi and the Eternals. Black Widow, I wasn't disappointed with. It was what it was. It was a James Bond spy espionage Marvel movie.
That's where I thought it lost itself. I thought the first half where they focused on Natasha and her family, I thought it was a lot of fun. And as soon as it went Mission Impossible, as soon as the mask started coming out, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, no, it definitely was that. And so for me, it just kind of worked okay. Like I needed the Red Guardian. I needed way more of him in that movie, in my opinion. But outside of that, I mean, like Doctor Strange 2, I enjoyed it. I really did. But it just I didn't get emotionally wrapped up into it. Like by the time you're at the end of Iron Man, you're like, holy shit, it just said I'm Iron Man. You had such this amazing feeling walking out of that movie and so many other Marvel films, and I just didn't have that at the end.
So last night, my brother's on a plane, flying first class, like that bougie bitch he is. For those of you who don't know, my brother's the co-host of the Flagrant 2 podcast, huge podcast on YouTube. A lot of you probably watch it. And he's watching Doctor Strange 2 for the first time. And during the entire flight, he is texting me just bitching about how much he hates the movie, how awful he thinks it is. And he's like, what is going on? This movie is just doing too much. Now, as a comic fan, I enjoyed Doctor Strange 2 because I felt like it was like a one-shot comic book. But while I was enjoying it, I was like, man, outside of comic book fans, people are not going to enjoy this movie.
That was my biggest thing. It's like this movie, whereas the other Marvel films up to Endgame were for the casuals. And even though Endgame, most people like my mom wouldn't watch it, but because they had watched all the other movies, they actually loved the characters. Like, you know what? I'm going to watch this one. And they really liked it. But Doctor Strange 2, man, I mean, that's exactly what I said. Is just what you said. If you're not a comic book fan, you're not going to enjoy this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, upon thinking about it even further, I told my brother this last night in text. I was like, honestly, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything special upon further review. In the moment, I enjoyed it. I tend to enjoy movies when I first come out of them, and then as I think about them, I'll give my true opinion after a day or two. Right, I'll gather my true thoughts after a day or two. But like, yeah, it was fine. And honestly, I've never been the biggest Doctor Strange guy. He's all right. You know,
Yeah, no, I mean, and I think that he's just one of those rolling over characters from an important part of the MCU, and so they just want to finish his arc out properly. You know, I don't think that we're going to see many. I think we might see another Doctor Strange movie, like the third one, to wrap up the trilogy, and he might be in some other films to like show up. But I
he's
think,
been better in other films.
oh yeah, I like him when he's in other stuff a little more, because I first off, I like Doctor Strange, the first one, better than the second one. I like Scott Derrickson as a director, so
Mm-hmm.
he's a horror director, and so I like his style. And while the second one had a horror movie elements to it, it had Sam Raimi horror elements.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Scott Derrickson has a little bit more of a psychological horror side to you that's a little darker. It's not so carnival ride-ish, you know. And that's Doctor Strange too. You know, a lot of the cameras turning this way and that way and zooming in quick. And I mean, that's Sam Raimi. Look at Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Which I love that. That's great. But I don't know. I'm getting off track here talking about Doctor Strange and
Yeah.
everything. I think one of the things that really messed me up with Doctor Strange 2, though, is that I don't like that they relied so much on the events of a Disney Plus show going into this movie that was made way after the first Disney Plus show that it's connecting to. I don't know. I thought that was sort of wrong for them. They should have created a reason for in the movies for Wanda to have been so upset rather than creating that in the show. Because if you hadn't seen that show and you're just walking into that movie, you wouldn't have felt the gravity of Wanda's pain.
So this does come full circle. I'm glad you made that comment because I think, these Marvel TV shows, concept wise, they're failing. They ain't getting the job done.
They're
You know?
CW.
Yeah, they are not getting the job done. And I had high hopes because I hated the Netflix shows. I think I've said this over and over again. I will continue to say it. I was tired of Netflix shows and their daddy issue superhero shows. I was tired of every superhero show being about daddy issues. And I thought Marvel would do a better job. Dog, they have dropped the ball so hard on these TV shows. And yeah, you're right. It's like, why are we bothering with these TV shows? And then you got to make me watch these TV shows to watch the movie, and the movie doesn't live up to expectations because it didn't follow the stupid TV show that nobody cared about.
You know what it feels like? It feels like when they do crossover events in the comics, and then you'd feel like it's every issue from every person's title that you don't normally buy because it's like, well, because it says at the issue right here to get the full story, go read so-and-so issue number this. And next thing you know, you're spending so much money on comics. That's what they're doing here, man. They're wanting you to buy more. So you can, you know what I mean? Like the more you buy, the more you have to buy.
So marketing is important for a studio, but you have to be careful when you let marketing override the creative concept. It's important. You need things to tie in. You need to be able to make money as a studio, right? Just go look at Warner Brothers. Ask them all about that, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you heard that Ezra, I think, is like staying.
Yeah. Listen, if Ezra was black, that would be a different issue, right? But
probably right, honestly.
But he's not, so he gets to get away with what he gets to get away with. That's another story. Ezra Miller, man, that boy extra. That boy extra,
super extra. And look, to get a little off topic from She-Hulk, but it's just like, so Ray Fisher gets fired, but Ezra is still on board. Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Ezra's a wild ride, man.
Jeez,
it's a wild ride.
Look, and I like him as the Flash. I really do.
I hated him as the Flash. I hated that Flash. I once again, I always want to be careful because a lot of times people just automatically knee-jerk blame the actors, but the actors are going under the direction of the director and under the material of the script, right? I've never really cared for Ezra Miller as an actor. Not that I didn't like him, but I just never really saw anything special of any of his performances. But he was always the same moody white boy that I've seen a million times, But with Flash, it was like the super nerdy, uber nerdy character, and I think they want him to be the window to the fans. Like they wanted the fans to see themselves in the Flash, and to me, that just shows you how far-fetched they are from what makes a successful comic book movie. Because to them, the typical fan of their movies is this uber nerdy guy, and that's not who those comic book movie fans are anymore.
Well, I guess we'll see with Andrew Muschietti doing the Flash, because the Flash is basically, people are saying that it's the like one of the best ones that DC's done. Like this and the Joker are the best ones.
I've heard that before from DC movies, though.
Yeah, we've heard it from everybody. We've heard it from
Yeah.
Marvel. I mean, they were saying that Eternals was gonna get Oscar nominated, and
But that's that once again. We got to be able to try to find. And this is where we want to come in for you viewers. You got to try to find the people that aren't giving you bullshit. When you hear the Oscar nomination stuff and you look at the director's name and you say Ava DuVernay, that's where a lot is coming from.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to make Ava DuVernay mad. Duh. Eternals is awesome. Yeah, sure. I didn't finish it. I only watched 10 minutes, but whatever. It was great. Ava DuVernay is a visionary. And I do like Ava DuVernay. She's great, but Eternals was pretty basic.
Wait. Ava DuVernay, who's that?
The director of the Eternals, right?
No, that's Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Chloe Zhao. You're right.
Yeah, she did.
Ava DuVernay was originally attached, wasn't she?
I'm not sure. I kind of got. I knew very little about the Eternals production before it sort of got released. They didn't even release a trailer until like a month or so before the movie came out, or too much before. They released a teaser a long time ago, but it was nothing.
Yeah.
Anyways, getting off track, but I mean, honestly, I don't have a ton more to say, man. I just was curious. You're thinking this show's trash. I'm kind of enjoying it. I don't think that it's awesome, but I don't think that. I think it's for me, it's getting for what it was sort of kind of going for, and I had very low hopes for it. You had high hopes, and you're saying it's not getting what it should be going for. And I think, to be fair, you read a lot of these comics that more than I did, as far as the She-Hulk.
Yeah, they were great, man. Here's the thing. Once again, just to prove my point, nobody cares about Jennifer Walters. Comic books have very little Jennifer Walters. It's not called Jennifer Walters and the She-Hulk, or Jennifer Walters. It's called She-Hulk. She-Hulk is the main focus of this show. Now, I understand there's probably CGI limitations to having She-Hulk as the main character, which is probably why you should have thought better than to have it be a Marvel TV show, a Marvel Plus TV show, or Disney Plus TV show, as opposed to a movie.
Make 6 episodes instead of 9.
Yeah, something, right? But yeah, this whole.
I didn't understand that.
Sorry, my
no, yeah.
Yeah. This whole vibe, it's a trash TV show. It's mid, and it should be way better. I think that's my main problem with TV show, is there is potential there. You see the potential for it to be a lot better than it is. But they keep taking easy way outs. They keep taking easy way outs with the dialogue, with a pro-feminist theme of the show. They just take the easy way out instead of giving us more complex versions of that same message that would resonate a lot more with a viewer. The jokes. I mean, have you laughed hard at any of the jokes?
I have, with Wong.
Yeah. Once again, the cameos way better than the main character. Her jokes.
Well, I mean, there's certain things that I enjoy her character, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that she's made me crack up.
Have any of her fourth wall jokes hit with you?
I prefer I'd be fine with no fourth wall, but I'm just glad that it's done just very little. You know what I mean? Like, since it's done so little, like, it doesn't really. It's like, all right, let's get this fourth wall thing out of the way, and then let's get into the episode. And that's what they did this time around.
In the Byrne run, and it's been a while since I've read these, but I remember the fourth wall was great because it was almost kind of antagonistic towards the nerds that were reading it in a humorous way, right? Like the first issue of She-Hulk, the first fourth wall break she does on the cover, she says, "All right, buy my comic book, otherwise I'm coming up and ripping up all your X-Men comics." And then the last issue, when the comic got canceled, the comic book cover is She-Hulk pissed off, saying, "All right, we had a deal. Give me your X-Men comics now."
Yeah, no, I remember that. I totally.
So. Yeah, it would be kind of like taking little jabs at the readers, which I thought was kind of fun. It was humorous, right? It was done in a tasteful way. She-Hulk is just, in this one, it's just like, it's extra exposition. It's trying to be cheeky and funny, but it falls flat every single time. It falls flat, and it's like, what are we doing here?
I mean, I could do without it, but like I said, it's so little that it's not. If she was doing it the entire episode, then it would be more bothersome for me.
Okay, so you're enjoying the show.
I don't think it has the glow, but
okay, then where do you think it can improve? Because you're a talented director. By the way, let's plug the fact that you've got a little movie coming out soon, and people get to see how talented you are. And I've gotten to see little bits and pieces of this movie. I didn't even see finished parts, but it was fire. So I'm excited to see the full version.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I thought that I sent you a link. Maybe I did or maybe I didn't, but I'll send you a link to it at some point so you can watch a private video of it. But no, where could it improve? I think that, like I said, if they don't do anything, if they're not building up something to all these characters they've been talking about, like Titania, Donnie Blaze, which has been a whole episode on, if they're really not doing anything with them, and remember, we still have Emil Blonsky, the Abomination, to talk about, and we're still supposed to see Daredevil in this coming up. So if they're not leading up to something big that happens in this, then I will feel like it's just a waste of time. It's like, why are we supposed to care about what we've been watching? And if it doesn't pop by episode 6, then I'm going to agree with you that they're failing, because it needs to pop before then. Honestly, if it doesn't pop next episode, if something really significant doesn't happen next episode, it's going to be like, what's going on here?
Yeah, man.
So that's
Listen,
where I think it could change. I made that a long answer. Where it could change is that I feel like we could be shown a little more that there's significance to these characters.
so we have a big female superhero who could be a huge feminist icon. And if I'm a feminist, I'm pissed at all these properties that are coming out. Because they're doing such a bad job of delivering that message, right? Like if I'm a real feminist that wants to see females be empowered, I'm not just looking for angry diatribe yelling at people
Yeah,
and
you're not
shoving.
looking for a patronizing moment. You want
Yeah,
to feel, yeah.
yeah. It's just, this is not as bad as Master of the Universe He-Man. You know, you know, it's not written as badly as a Kevin Smith show with his thumb stomach and his oversized clothes. Dog as a director can't find clothes that fit, looking like he's selling heroin in Baltimore for
Easy,
Avon
easy.
Boxdale.
Remember, Kevin, I like you, dude. This is all Anshul. I like you, Kevin
Kevin,
Smith.
I like you too. Why don't you find some clothes that fit? You're 50 years old. Find a tailor. You got a lot of money, all right? Jesus Christ. But yeah, listen. Can we just get a little bit better writing for these feminists who want to see, who want to have their moment post Me Too? Can we just not try to cash in on their moment and give us some good
Right.
quality stuff here? Is
Yeah,
that too
no,
much to
you're right,
ask?
dude. No, it's not at all, man. You're right on it. I think that it needs to be a little bit more tastefully done. It needs to have a little more tact to it, and not just being like, don't make it a part of your checklist. Make it something that comes from good intention, that feels sincere.
Because they are so bad at writing this material, that's why we have channels like Geeks and Gamers taken off with their anti-feminist rhetoric, right? Because they're, even though they're appealing to a small, or what I hope is a small group of people, the rest of the movie watching public and the TV show watching public is just so tired of being over the head with bad writing, to where these things are getting shoved in their face rather than served them in
And
a
that
tasteful manner, that they're also getting angry, and then they're siding with these channels and giving them tons of views, which of course is making them ratchet up the rhetoric. It's just it's a never ending cycle of stupidity.
well, and let me just say it like this too. I'm sick of any sort of agenda being shoved down my throat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's, you know, anything, like, not, and I'm not just referring to feminism at all. I'm referring to everything. Just, it needs to be, if you're trying to convey a message of any kind in your writing, it needs to be done cleverly, and it needs to be done tastefully and sincerely, not, like I said, like you're trying to mark it off your checklist.
Listen, themes have movies, right? Spike Lee movies have pro African American messages. We can go down the list of other directors that have certain thematic themes in their messages.
That's sort of their stance as an artist, though. That's where they've come from before they started making movies. You know what I mean? That's what you're getting into when you're watching their movies.
Yeah, yeah. So, for example, when you're watching Kevin Smith movie, you're watching somebody who spoke themselves stupid before they wrote the movie.
Easy.
So, but yeah, no. Listen. If you're gonna write well, and even you look at Spike movies, not all of them are written well, but some of them are written phenomenally, right? And
Yeah,
so that's when the message really resonates with you. That's when you walk away going, "Oh wow, I just saw a different perspective that I didn't know about, and I feel like I've learned something from that."
And not every director and every writer makes just a knocking them out of the park movie every time. But usually, when they're on some sort of a small streak, or they made a couple that aren't working the right way, they shift gears and they pivot. If the MCU doesn't pivot quickly on the Disney Plus side, and a little bit in their movies, they're starting to hit a direction that I think is in a bad direction.
Yeah, my brother said it again yesterday when he was watching, Doctor Strange. And once again, he's not a comic book fan at all. So he's kind of like, every woman's got to be stronger than every guy. And I was like, okay, well, in fairness to Doctor Strange 2, we're dealing with a souped up Wanda. But yeah, you're right. they got to be careful with this, right? Once again, they're being too heavy-handed with their message. And you know what makes it even worse? And I hate this too. I hate this when I see woke warriors taking up a theme just for their own benefit. To give you an example, there are 2 wrestling companies out there. There's a wrestling company called AEW, and of course, we all know WWE. Okay, AEW fans are notorious for using woke rhetoric to try to denigrate the WWE product. And to me, that's very insulting because you're taking something that's a very real life issue and using it for your own benefit just to try to win an internet argument.
Yeah. To try to gain off of, to try to actually get some sort of gain off of real pain. It's never, it's always in bad taste. It's bad juju, as my grandma would say.
Right. Especially when for something as petty as my wrestling show is better than your wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Now, Marvel, what are you doing this for? Are you doing it because you really believe in the message, or are you doing it to capitalize off it? And because it's coming off like the latter.
I think they do believe in the message, but what I personally think it is, and we've talked about before in the past, is that I just think that they become too much of a machine, and the machine's grown too big to where they're not taking the love and care for each project like they used to. Now they're just greenlighting so much, giving these people free reign to go, okay, just here. All right, cool, go do this. All right, cool, go do this. Whereas it used to be there had only these many projects going, and Feige was on set for all of them. Yeah, now it's not like that. And they just don't have the time to give it the love and care. And so I think the individuals, directors, the individual writers, their agendas might be coming through a little more. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. I mean, listen, if I'm Marvel and I watch that scene from The Boys where they make fun of their pro-female moment in the Avengers, I am embarrassed that they were able to do it better than me. I am more embarrassed than Kevin Smith's wife when she watches him leave the house dressed like a 6-year-old. Okay.
Why do you got to keep going back to Kevin Smith, dude?
Hey man, it's a tag. You got to keep coming back to it.
Yeah, but I like him. You can't keep hating on him though.
I mean, listen, you're too good to be working with him in the future. So
no, that's not true, Kev. We can come to some sort of an agreement, I'm sure.
Yeah, let Bobby do the writing and the directing. And let him just do everything, as a matter of fact. You just put your name on it. That's all you do. And just keep your mouth shut.
Look, this is a good segue into the way I wanted to finish off the show, though, because I'm going to, I got us a little trailer here to watch.
Okay.
But that being said, you're going to be joining me next week, though, right?
Yeah. Listen, you're the only reason I'm still watching this show.
All right. No, fair enough.
And I'll watch it all the way through just for you, Bobo, because I love doing these.
What I really want to do, and I would like to do this Sunday. This last Sunday, dude, I had so much going on. I was having a house sit. I was taking people to the airport, all kind of stuff. I would like to really talk about House of Dragon, like a pregame, what's going on in the 4th one, and maybe we can keep doing that every Sunday until it's over.
We can. Now, just keep in mind, we are going to be dealing with NFL football.
Okay, so what's Saturday? Well, Saturday might not work for me. Well, maybe we can do a post on Monday.
So my guys are going to want to do the post with me first, but we can do a pre on Sunday. It's just we'll probably have to schedule around like Cowboys games and stuff. But
well, I'll link up with you at some point. We'll figure it out. But that's a show that we both agree that we are liking. So that'll be an interesting conversation. A little bit more of a agreeing conversation.
Yeah. It's a show that's well written. And here's the thing. Once again, I've been hard on She-Hulk. It's not written horribly. It's written semi-decently.
Yeah, you're saying it's good.
Decently. I just wanted more from the show. That's why I'm so upset.
No, I got you. So, no, and like I said, if it doesn't give us more going forward after this, I'm going to start losing some faith in it too.
Right.
All
right, let's watch the trailer.
Well, dude, no, and look, thanks for joining me, man.
I loved it.
We're going to end with this trailer, and I'm not leaving you off. I'm just saying thank you, man. And hey, look, we was talking about late court, so you guys check this out, and then I'm going to holler at you real quick before we leave. So, yeah, check this out real fast.
Hey, girl, I was just about to call you and let you know I'm on my way.
Yeah, we remember you were getting there a couple days early. Danielle's here with me. I just picked her up. She's going to spend the night with me tonight, and then we will leave tomorrow.
She didn't answer?
No. I'm starting to get worried about her.
You have the address for this house?
Yeah, she sent it to me back when they booked the house a couple months back. Lake Court is the street.
So you're saying that she's in a big house, nowhere near here, by herself, and you can get a hold of her?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not scary at all.
All right.
Sick.
Yeah, so that's the trailer for our film coming out, written by Andrew Worley, directed by me.
Andrew
And,
Worley looking jacked in that movie, bruh. Andrew Worley's been hitting the weights.
Andrew's got some biceps, some traps, and I think that's what you call him. All that. He's got some
Damn, Andrew,
yeah, he works out, man. So
yeah, man, you gotta hit me up with that protein powder you've been using, Andrew. You got you looking like a hoss now, Andrew.
You know, he's been lifting them beer kegs and stuff. He's been doing beer reps. Well, he works for a rep company.
Oh,
so
okay.
Talks about this stuff. Not anymore. He just switched jobs for something else, but I can't remember. I don't want to speak for him in the exact company because I don't know. But anyways, just wanted to show you all that real quick, guys.
Yo, fans, like, listen. Did that not look sick? The cinematography, the way it was put together, the way that trailer was put together, and this was done. Just so y'all don't know, Bobo's got some great parents, but he don't come from money. He don't have money falling out the sky, right?
No.
He did it on a shoestring budget, funded by fans like you that donated to a GoFundMe, and he made that money work. And if he can do that, why can't Kevin Smith make a goddamn good movie?
Oh, there we go.
$1 million that he has.
Segued back. There it is. I love. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment.
No. It's deserved, dog. It's not just false praise. I don't do false praise well. I would have been like, if I didn't like it, I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. And then I would just shut up. But like that was some good shit, and especially because I know where you come from, I know the work you put in, I know the amount of ingenuity that took to put that shit together. That was phenomenal. That looks sick. I'm excited to watch the final product.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Well deserved, man. Go watch that, people.
Hell yeah, it'll be coming out as soon as possible for everybody, but we just got to get it into festivals first before we can release it publicly. But hey, with that being said, guys, thank y'all so much for joining me and Anshul, and we'll be back next Thursday together for sure. But I got more videos coming out before then. But remember, if life gives you lemons, guys, make some hot, fresh popcorns, and y'all have a good one. Peace out.